and welcome back to the Winning Mentality YouTube channel. It's just me. There's no Has Kareem today. There won't be Has Kareem on this series. It is a new series on this channel, which we're using to replace our footy manager. As you know, the football's starting to slowly come back. Today, we're calling it This Is My Club, and we're going to be getting fans from all different clubs across the globe, hopefully, but firstly across this country. And today I'm joined by Jacob Troughton. I hope I haven't butchered your surname there, mate.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Who is a Peterborough United supporter. How are you, mate?
I'm doing very well. How are you yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. So, first off, Jacob, we'll start this series. It's not going to be too long, but we'll get straight into it. Where did your love for Peterborough come?
Basically, I'm a relatively local lad, but I live sort of the outskirts of the towns nearby. As I was growing up, I was kind of heavily involved, like Man United, due to they were always on the telly. Everyone was wearing the shirts and all that kind of stuff. When you're young, you kind of just follow the best team, and also you watch people like David Beckham when you grow up with them, and that you do sort of get fond for the game. So yeah, I was watching that, and I really wanted to go watch a game, but the trouble I had was my parents hated football. And it was hard to actually get any sort of tickets. And I lived about sort of 4 hours-ish away, 3.5, 4 hours-ish away. So it's quite a long way. And what happened was, back in, I believe it was 2005, Peterborough was actually on Sky Sports. Big Ron Atkinson, called Big Ron Manager, and it was a series of, again, struggling financially and about Peterborough and trying to get them to promote to League One when they were back when they were League Two at the time. We had Steve Bleasdale as manager, but Big Ron Atkinson came to obviously troubleshoot and help the club out, and they talk about finances and all that. But being that young and that, I didn't realise how much of a proper football club at the time that Peterborough. I thought that's great. I could go watch them. So luckily, my nan likes football. She took me one time, and I fell in love with it straight away. It was on the 14th of October 2006, I believe, 1-2 against Shrewsbury. Trevor Benjamin and Danny Crowe scored, and that just the start of the love of Peterborough. And I wouldn't even call myself a United fan anymore. I'll probably have a little soft spot for them in terms of Premier League teams, but if we ever meet paths, I would hope Peterborough smash them.
Right, so Jacob, that was a great story. You know, converted from Manchester United. That's what we love to see. But who in your early years and even now is the player that you've most appreciated when you've seen them play for Peterborough United?
Cat actually plays for us now. It's George Boyd, who went on to play for Burnley. And Hull, yeah, he got Hull promoted when he was in Championship. He was just sheer class. If he had a bit more pace on him, I think he could have got further, maybe a more high established Premiership team. But what he could do with his feet, his commitment to the game, tricky player, assists, the plays he did, the goals he scored. He genuinely loves the club. I remember there was one game, I can't remember what game it was. I saw him in his car, we just lost, and he looked distraught. Really sort of bought into the club's philosophy. And when he came back, I mean, you could see he was so happy to be back as well. Obviously, got family and things like that, but I think it was quite an easy decision for him, and he's loved by the posh fans, and yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. He went on to be quite a decent player, very, very good technically, isn't he?
Yeah.
But what's your favourite standout moment as a Peterborough United fan?
So when we got promoted to the Championship the second time in the recent years was against MK Dons in the semi-leg on the playoffs. So the context of that, I went to Stadium NK, we lost 3-2. Absolutely, what was winning 1-0, it went to 3-1 and we managed to get to 3-2. So obviously it was a big game. I think it's pretty much a sellout crowd in that. Grant McCann free kick, then Craig McCall-Smith make it 2-1. And so going on it, off topic slightly, but before the time I had just sort of fell out with my friend. It was just teenage school stuff. So I wasn't in the best of moods at the time. But then obviously Peterborough just instantly changed my mood. Pitch invade as well. The first time I ever pitch invade in a game, which was brilliant. I remember at the time there was a steward just waiting there. I literally just he's chasing up on people and that, and I remember I had to dodge him over so I can get in the middle of the pitch and that celebrating. I honestly, that day was brilliant. I remember I got home that evening. My girlfriend at the time wanted to chat to me, and couldn't care what she wanted to say to me. I was just talking about posh. So there's probably a reason I'm not with her anymore. But
yeah, man, and that's what football does to you, doesn't it? It just takes over everything, and I know myself.
I think the main thing, it goes back to why I support Peterborough as well, because it's local as well. It means more. I think it's so easy to go watch football in the Premier League and on a sofa or Sky Sports or however way you watch the football. When actually you go there and experience it, and when you actually win something, or even better, promotion or some form of success in your club, it means more. Well, I think when you're a big club fan, where you just kind of expect it, and so that's kind of why. Absolutely,
mate. And finally, before we get into sort of the current times, what would you say is the future for Peterborough United? Do you see them maintaining a League One, potentially League One, League Two status for a long time? Do you think they can go forwards? Do you think potentially they have the infrastructure to be a good quality Championship club? What's your perspective on it?
Our ambition is to be a Championship club. We've just literally got 2 new owners. Obviously got Darren McCaffrey as a current owner, but he's the chairman as well. But we've got 2 new Canadian owners who've come in and they've sorted help all the external stuff. So not much of the football side. Obviously, the chairman sorts all the football side. They've been a massive help, and our ambition is to be a sustained Championship club. We are it's going to be probably delayed a bit, but we're hoping that there's going to be a new stadium in 4 years. There's plans in place to get, I think it's 26,000 seater stadium, going from 12 to 26 in the city centre, and that is the ambition. We want to be a Championship club, reach for the heights in that sense, and we've got like a 10-year plan, as they call it, so fingers crossed, hopefully.
Yeah, well, there's Bournemouth in the Premier League who have a 10,000 seater stadium, so why can't Peterborough, you know?
Well, their stadium's smaller than ours.
Yeah, so. Exactly, and that's the way forward. So, in terms of League One, at the moment, what is the situation within COVID-19, and how has that affected your team in particularly?
So it's a bit of a strange one, because it's hard to get grasp without sort of going through it. But basically, it's been based on they're looking to end the season, even though they're looking to restart Championship and Premiership. But they're looking to finish the season up in League One and League Two. Hasn't been fully decided, but that's what it's set to be. So they won't void and null the season, but what they're looking to do is doing like a points per game situation, which because we are 6th, and because Wycombe have a game in hand, and bear in mind Wycombe's game in hand is against Coventry, who are top of the league, with a game in hand as well. They obviously football's a funny old thing, but it goes by them winning that, and we get knocked out, and it gets replaced by Wycombe. Now, this is so there's two different types. There's unweighted and weighted. If it was weighted, it would have been done by your home form and your away form, and work out the separate on the points that sense. Which we still got another, I believe it's like 5 home games left out of the 9, and one of the, sort of the easiest running views leading up to the end of the season. And if we was gone on the weighted route, we would actually be in the playoffs, because it counts for home and away, because our home record is a lot better than away. So that what is obviously causes a bit of a debate, because within the fans of that league, because obviously you got your people who just want no and voided. You've got Tram, who's actually going to get, why this system will go down when they've actually have a good chance of staying up. I think they're only 2 points behind Wimbledon. So, I mean, which isn't fair. When there's 27 points to play for, obviously, us, we go out the playoffs. A lot of these teams are looking to stop the season, but want to play. They want to stop the season because it's not safe, but they also want to say they want to play the playoffs, so they in it. So there's a bit of back and forth from that, and it gets quite confusing. There's been fake stories leaked out to the press, like where it looks like clubs have been sort of trying to push them a certain agenda and that. So it's been a really weird situation. Regarding to us, we go out the playoffs, and even though we're 6th, obviously it's not our fault that the season has stopped. That now we don't get the chance to, and we're only 3 points from second, so we don't even get a chance to go potentially to go up for any different means. If you ask me personally, I think there's been too much rush to make a decision. I think if you could delay it, go through all the summer, and if it's a bit more safer, I'll do it that way. I know Bundesliga, if with a bit of patience and a bit of well planning, it can be done. There's so many issues. I understand there's how much it costs, testing and things like that, but one thing what the chairman has done, he's actually gone and looked at the figures, and it seems like it can be done, but it's hard to say as a fan. But from what I've read on the whole league.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully for you, it gets sorted in a way that that suits you. But putting a an unbiased hat on, and this isn't what this show's about. Actually, it's about being biased. But putting an unbiased hat on, what do you think is the best way to end the season?
If I had my choice, I think if it's safe enough, play the 9 games. I think the integrity of the league is the most important thing. I don't think you can have the Premiership and Championship do one thing and League One, League Two do another. And I include that of the conference as well, because they're still professional leagues. That's my personal opinion. I think there's other ways we can look into it if the season can't continue. Another suggestion was to extend the playoffs, so anyone who was actually in the chance of in the playoffs could play like a sort of a mini knockout, well, like a extended playoffs as they are, to get to the final. That's another way, so it stops the arguing of, well, if we played our games we would go up, which is kind of my argument anyway. But that actually stops. I mean, that stops all that. That's a potential way. Or none unfold the season. I think the one things that the EFL have to do going forward after this crisis actually is to have these plans in place, signed up before the season starts, and have them sort of a bit of like a legislation sort of thing to that league. If X amount of games been played, this is the options that we're going to be taking if it happens, and it can get reviewed every so often. But I mean, we don't know when this could ever happen again. I would have thought the FA would have had something to get just in case, but they didn't. That's why it's just not been quite very well organised, or from definitely as a fan perspective, hasn't.
No. And yeah, well, hopefully for you guys, it all gets sorted and you go up and you can see your club play once again. So final one from me. Best goal you've ever seen at Peterborough that you've seen live?
That seemed live. The same season as when we went up was the playoff final. And the reason this one is the best goal, it's probably not the actual best goal, but it's just the way it was.
Yeah.
So it was against Huddersfield, 2011. I think about 75 minutes, it was just neck and neck. Everyone's throwing at around each other. It was 0-0. We broke the deadlock, has scored, and you think, oh yes, we just got to just keep cool for 15 minutes. 2 minutes later, we scored a second one. Okay, good. Just don't keep your heads down, because back at the time we scored the most goals in the season, but we conceded the most goals in the season in the country. So yeah, there was just goals everywhere. So we could easily go the other way. Then I think some 5 minutes by the end, Grant McCann just the edge of the box curled a free kick in. And it was brilliant because we had Chris Welkdale sort of front of the door, just going out of the way just enough so the keeper couldn't see. It went in, and obviously that was it. 3-0 at 5 minutes to go. We was up. And we just came down the season before to go straight back up in the fashion that we did. After obviously the game before, running on the pitch, we obviously beat Huddersfield, who were on a fantastic run at the time. Who they all had they called the blue shirts. So in their stand they had like blue and white on the stand, so it was all colourful for them. And obviously we beat them 3-0 in such a fantastic fashion. And it was just sort of the build up of that moment, relief but excitement as well.
Excellent stuff. Wow, I think that's a good way to finish it. Thank you very much, Jacob, for joining me and being the guinea pig.
Yeah.
It was really good fun, and hopefully I can.
Well, I hope I haven't put you off.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Is there any sort of stuff you want to shout out on here before we go?
No, but all I say is if anyone's interested, it's worth looking at Darren Cantry's podcast if you want to. If you're actually quite interested in the business side of football and kind of he'll explain a bit better than me about how it all happens. He'll give you a sort of timeline on that. If you're interested in all this sort of COVID-19 and football, it's a very good listen. That's just a suggestion.
Great stuff. Well, hopefully the listeners take you up on that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please drop a thumbs up. We're trying to hit 250 by the end of May, but I think that's a bit unrealistic. We'll go 250 by the middle of April. Middle of June. I just missed up the entire calendar. But still, thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you next time.